Alabama, Michigan State, the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. This special presentation of News 4 at 5 brought to you by the Valenzuela Law Firm.
This is one of the biggest prizes in all of college football, the coveted Cotton Bowl trophy on display here deep in the heart of Texas. Tonight, either third-ranked Michigan State or the second-ranked Crimson Tide of Alabama will take home this sterling silver award along with a very special invite that could lead, who knows, to a national championship. It's going to be a very exciting evening, and good evening and welcome to AT&T Stadium here in Dallas. I'm Tony Cornish Jr. on what should be an exciting night as we get ready for kickoff here at the Cotton Bowl.
And I'm Taylor Tannenbaum. Like you said, number 2 Alabama, number 3 Michigan State, set to take center stage right here at AT&T Stadium just shortly for the second national semifinal game of the day. Great college football action today.
That's right, no doubt about it. It's a great day for football here. A little bit chilly, but I tell you what, Crimson Tide and the Spartans have been practicing in this weather. They should be ready for it. It's been a great week of preparation indeed. Let me tell you about these two teams when they arrived here. The two teams arrived in the Dallas-Fort Worth area at the start of the week of different times, coming off of a Christmas break. MSU landed on Friday evening, while the Crimson Tide arrived on Saturday after 3 days of R&R for the holidays. This game features, of course, teams with very similar makeups as well, and backgrounds and philosophies, and that's not by accident because Michigan State is a team that's proven their mental toughness, and the same holds true for Alabama. The men in green won 8 straight before losing to Nebraska back on November 7th. Since that time, they've won 4 games in a row. Bama opened with 2 wins before falling to Ole Miss in Tuscaloosa on September 19th. Now, since that 6-point setback and the heartfelt team meeting that they had after that loss, this team, they've turned around their fortunes by winning 10 straight games.
And you see structure, you see toughness, you see effort, you see knowledge of what they're supposed to do, which are 3 things that I've basically learned from a very early time in coaching with Nick.
They beat you basically on fundamental execution and not making a lot of mistakes.
Go way back on a personal level. Saban actually recruited D'Antonio. Saban was on the staff at Kent State when D'Antonio was playing ball at Zanesville High School in Ohio back in the day. Their paths crossed again years later when Saban became the head coach at Michigan State in 1995. And that's when he hired D'Antonio as an assistant coach. Regardless of the fact that the two are going head-to-head tonight, trying to knock each other out of the playoffs, there's a mutual respect between the two.
A lot of our program is patterned after the people that I've been able to work for. And certainly Coach Saban has had great success. And quite frankly, a lot of the things that we do are patterned after the things that I learned from him, whether it's technique in the secondary, the back end a little bit, or defensively, or just structure of the entire program.
And he's obviously blossomed into a fantastic job in terms of what he's done at Michigan State right now. And I think the world should recognize what a great job he's done.
Saban's Crimson Tide and D'Antonio's Spartans met in the 2011 Capital One Bowl not too long ago. Alabama dominated Michigan State from start to finish, 49-7. Alabama fans remember that one. They literally ran away with the win, rushing for 275 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground. Both camps say, but that 2011 game doesn't matter when talking about tonight's game. It was 5 years ago. They're completely different teams and completely different programs now.
Now, the highly respected Alabama defensive unit will certainly be in the spotlight tonight here in the Lone Star State, and for good reason. Don't forget, defense will, they say that wins championships. We'll see. We'll check in with the men from T-Town who bring a whole new meaning to the term, we play to win the game. The Cotton Bowl preview show will roll on in just a few moments. And once again, welcome back to the Cotton Bowl Preview Show. We are here in Dallas at AT&T Stadium, where just a few hours it begins. The 80th annual Cotton Bowl, Alabama taking on Michigan State.
And before this season even began, Tony, Alabama's defensive front 7 was being compared to the front 7 of the Alabama Crimson Tide's 2011 team, which is considered to be one of the best D units in Crimson Tide history. But Tony, those are some big shoes to fill, and I've had to say this defense has really lived up to the hype.
Just watching them on film, I mean, they look like an NFL defense in size, speed, the hits that they put on their opponents.
These guys enjoy practicing. They get out there, and I mean, there's times that we're not trying to go full speed live, and they're out there wanting to tackle, go after the quarterback. The front guys are deep, so they stay fresh.
It all starts in the trenches with the defensive line.
I was walking in here and walked past some of their defensive linemen. They're some big guys. So, like I said earlier, they're everything you want in a D-line. Very talented.
I call them savages, like a bunch of cage animals. I mean, you go out there every day, you just see them. They jumping around, they hype, they pump. They, let's go, y'all, let's go.
Yeah, we're out there on the hunt, I feel like. I mean, they with me on it. Really, it's just we're hungry, We want something, so we got to go get it.
The Crimson Tide D, which leads the nation in sacks, will be on the prowl for quarterback Connor Cook. The fifth-year senior has been battling a shoulder injury, but says he is back to 100%.
I'm feeling great. Practiced yesterday and the day before, felt really good. The time off, going back home, doing some extra rehab stuff, obviously helped out a lot, but shoulder's feeling good. 100%. You got it.
Personally, I feel like he's one of the best quarterbacks we done played all season. It just comes down to reading our keys, getting the call, and executing the call.
There's no defense that we can put out there that he hasn't seen. So for us, that's the challenge, is being able to control Connor Cook and still stop the run game, which they're stubborn with.
MSU also has a stable of running backs, 3 young guys, all capable of toting the pigskin. But Sparty is set to face the top-ranked rushing defense in the country.
Last year, in the last couple of years, actually, we didn't finish, and this year we got to finish.
Senior linebacker Reggie Ragland does not want this game to be his last, that is for sure. But I think a big key for the Crimson Tide today, especially on defense, is the fact that their D coordinator, Kirby Smart, will be with them on the sidelines. He did, of course, take that head coaching job at the University of Georgia, but he vowed to these kids that he would finish the season with them, and he's here in Texas.
A man of his word, deep commitment. And talking about Michigan State for just a quick second here, they've proven that they can close out games as well. They've won 6 games by a touchdown or less. That takes character and commitment on both sides of the ball. For example, the Big Ten championship game against Iowa. Who will be able to ever forget that 22-play final drive of the game that led to the victory for the men in green? That takes, again, moxie in a big game environment. No doubt about that, Taylor.
I don't even know if moxie is a good enough word to describe that drive, but they seem to have that clutch gene last year. Like a couple of teams seem to come down with that clutch gene every year, but I don't think they've seen a defense like Alabama all season. Alabama is the 2nd overall defense in the country. They're the top team in the country at stopping the run. They have not allowed a drive over 14 plays. So for them to run a 22-play drive on Alabama's defense, that's going to be pretty difficult.
Now, Alabama's offense now, they'll face a very physical front 7 in Michigan State as well. That's to be sure. They are a group that loves the hit. They're athletic, and they like to get up and down the field. Their pursuit angles have been excellent so far this season. And that's the big question right now. How will Tide quarterback Jay Coker and company measure up against the Big Ten champs defensive unit? That's a question we'll explore when the Cotton Bowl preview show continues here at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. And once again, welcome back to AT&T Stadium for the Cotton Bowl preview show right here on WTVY. I'm joined by News 4 sports reporter Noah Mendel right now. And Noah, offer us a little insight now on that Alabama offensive unit. They've grown and developed this season.
Well, yeah, when you start with the offense, I mean, you got to start with the Heisman Trophy winner, Derrick Henry. But the depth that Alabama has at skill players is pretty deeper than we think. Rushing the ball 339 times in a season is unheard of. But that's just what Derrick Henry did. Recent Bama running backs couldn't even get close to that number. Mark Ingram, 271. Eddie Lacy, 204. Yeldon, 207. Henry has even set an SEC record for most touches in one game with 46. The 6'3", 243-pound running back may lead the charge, but don't overlook the rest of this Bama squad. Quarterback Jay Coker finished the final 4 games of the season with a 6-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. The young man from Mobile couldn't be more proud to wear crimson in his first bowl game appearance.
To be from Alabama and represent, the team that I grew up pulling for, and knowing that, all the people back home are pulling for me, it means a lot.
One of Coker's targets, Calvin Ridley, has exploded this season, leading the team in yards, receptions, and tied for the lead with 5 touchdowns.
For guys to come into the SEC in their first year as true freshmen, not many of them have great years. And even ones that become great players, a lot of times still the transition from high school to the quality of defenses that you see in this conference says a lot about him that he could just come in and play so well right away.
Well, it's a good thing Coker has time to throw. Led by Remington Trophy winner center Ryan Kelly, the O-line has been dominant on and off the field.
The college football is always changing. Defenses are always evolving, so we kind of have to evolve with them. So that's where the film study comes into play. We have a lot of great analysts, a lot of great coaches who put together great game plans for us so that we can go out there on Saturday or whenever the game is and play fast and not worry about too many things. So they're a really sound defense. They do a lot of great things. They do them really well.
Tony, this offensive line is award-winning for a reason. This game is going to be won in the trenches in just a couple hours. My anticipation, run the ball with Derrick Henry and then open up that play action. Coker, send it out to his wideouts. Go for the jugular against Michigan State.
It's going to be an interesting chess match, to be sure. And talking about pieces on the chessboard, what about O.J. Howard, the big tight end for Alabama? Great credentials coming in. He's been slow to develop this year. Is this his time to shine?
Well, he was a huge recruit coming in here for Nick Saban. He's a 6'6". If I was 6'6", I'm going deep, baby. Throw me the ball. He's a big guy. This is a game where he can really break out. Ardarius Stewart, he'll be getting a lot of action from Michigan State. Same with Calvin Ridley. So that leaves O.J. Howard with a little bit more space. Send it out to Howard. I think Howard's going to have a couple touches tonight, couple catches, maybe even a touchdown. He may surprise us, Tony.
All right, Noah, we'll be watching. We appreciate the insight. Now, time for us to take a quick break, but when the Cotton Bowl preview returns, we'll check in with one of the few men on the Alabama roster who hails from right here in the Lone Star State. That's right, I'm talking about Mr. Robinson. He happens to hail from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. A-Shawn, the big guy, number 86, will get his thoughts on coming home to play in the biggest game of the season for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And once again, welcome back to the Cotton Bowl Preview Show. We've had some tough weather conditions of late across the Wiregrass throughout the city of Elba and surrounding regions. Flooding has been a big problem these last few days. Here in Texas, the same holds true. Not floods, but high winds, tornadoes. In fact, the city of Garland, just 30 minutes from our location here in Dallas, was damaged and ravaged by high winds, deadly tornadoes that cost 11 lives in that deadly storm. It's a tragic situation.
Really sad. And defensive lineman A-Shawn Robinson, the big guy, he hails from Texas. He has a lot of friends and family in this area, so he was affected by those storms, and Noah Mendel has the story.
It's great to be back home, playing in front of a bunch of fans and family and playing with these guys, it makes me want to go harder.
But on the same day the Alabama players arrived in Dallas, a disaster struck the Metroplex. An EF4 tornado with wind gusts up to 200 miles per hour hit Garland. More tornadoes also passed through the area, changing Robinson's ideal homecoming to the Lone Star State.
It's crazy, I didn't think I was going to come back to that. I was come back to loves and cheers, but I've been praying for those guys and praying for my old friends and teammates and the houses that got torn down and stuff. And it's just crazy, but I know everything's going to be all right.
With prayers in his heart and thoughts on his mind, number 86 will walk out on the field at AT&T Stadium on New Year's Eve to bring hope back to his hometown. Reporting in Dallas, Noah Mendel, News 4 Sports.
Of course, number 86 playing for more than just a national championship, playing for a lot of his friends and family members affected by tremendous storms and tornadoes throughout the Dallas area. Now, this is, of course, Alabama's second trip, as we alluded to early in the program, to the College Football Playoff Series. They've been here before, but one of the Tide's top receivers, this is his first trip.
That's right. This time last year, Oregon State wide receiver Richard Mullaney was watching bowl games on his couch. The redshirt senior was getting ready to graduate in 6 months, and he was looking to transfer for his final year of eligibility. Well, it just so happened that Alabama was looking to add some age and experience to a very young receiving corps.
I had no idea this is where I was going to end up.
Mullaney made the move from the West Coast to the Deep South in June. The graduate transfer admits he was nervous when he arrived in Tuscaloosa.
I mean, I didn't know really what to expect. Coming here, obviously, it's 5-star guys, Under Armour All-Americans. That's not who I was. I was never invited to those big All-Star games or anything like that. And, being in the locker room with these guys, I was intimidated. But, they've been welcoming, and it's been real fun.
One of the players who welcomed him was quarterback Jake Coker. The two were designated roommates during fall camp. While Coker would soon be relying on Mullaney on the field, it was Mullaney relying on Coker off the field. Coker was a graduate transfer once upon a time, too, coming to the capstone from Florida State.
We talked all the time, during fall camp. He was, like I said, one of my roommates, and, he definitely eased me into it, just the offense and, just any question I had about transferring or, how hard everything was. He definitely helped me out a lot.
He's a good one. I mean, I feel pretty comfortable throwing it to him. I just feel like he's going to make plays all the time, and he's real smart. He knows where to be. He knows how to use his body to get in the right position, and so throwing him the ball, I mean, I feel pretty comfortable, giving it to him.
Their connection has been strong this season. Mullaney has 308 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. The same guy who was watching bowl games from his couch last year is now preparing for the college football playoffs. And if someone would have told Mullaney back then that this would be his reality,
I would have looked at him funny and been like, "You're crazy."
Pretty cool. Mullaney and Coker both say that living together really helped them build that on-field relationship. So I can only imagine the shenanigans that went on in that duo's apartment.
All right, the dynamic duo. Watch out for them in just a few hours here in the Cotton Bowl. Thanks a lot, Taylor. We certainly appreciate it. All right, coming up in our Cotton Bowl preview, we'll check in once again with Noah Mendel. He went one-on-one with a receiver that we're going to hear from possibly in the years to come. He's a member of the Crimson Tide, but he's also a product of the Wiregrass. We'll check in with one former Elba Tiger coming up in just 90 seconds. Stay close. And once again, welcome back to the Cotton Bowl preview show. I'm joined, of course, by Taylor Tannenbaum here at AT&T Stadium. There's a Wiregrass representative that will be on the field and in the spotlight tonight. He is a young man who hails from Elba. He's a representative, the lone Wiregrass representative, again, on that Alabama Crimson Tide team who hails from our area. News 4 sports reporter Noah Mendel has more details on a small-town product who's trying to make it big time in T-Town.
Media Day kicked off bright and early, welcoming the big names, from quarterback Jake Coker to linebacker Reggie Ragland. But through the masses, we found one of our own, Austin Johnson, a state champion with the Elba Tigers in 2011, has made it to the big show in 2015.
It's been a dream of mine ever since I was little. Never really thought I was going to make that dream come true, but making that dream come true has been a big, big thing for me.
Johnson transferred to T-Town from Huntington College in Montgomery, but through his journey, he has always kept Elba in his mind.
I love going home and seeing all the people and them treat me like they treat me just as a normal human being. Like, this doesn't mean anything more to them as if someone went to someone else. I love it. I love my hometown.
So much so that number 38 gave back to his roots over winter break.
I was home for Christmas for a little while, and going and helping people move out, evacuate, and seeing all the tragedies happening. I just want everybody to keep Elba in your prayers.
Through the tragedy, the now Alabama wide receiver made sure to send a message to the team that can still bring a smile to a city in need.
Congratulations. I'm always rooting for you. I want to be out there playing with y'all.
He may be too old to play for the Tigers, but in the future, the Crimson Tide may need his help. Reporting from Dallas, Noah Mendel, News 4 Sports.
And, of course, we wish Austin all the very best in the years to come. We appreciate Noah Mendel for bringing that That's great story on a young man who hails once again from the Wiregrass. Now, the Alabama team, they're here in Dallas. It has been a business trip all the way, no doubt about it, for the Crimson Tide.
You know Nick Saban, he does not mess around, but at Media Day on Tuesday, the players were able to let loose a little bit. We had a little fun with a couple of the players. I was joined by two defensive backs, Maurice Smith and Jabril Washington, and I know you can go back to high school and you remember those high school yearbook superlatives. Well, that's what we did. We gave the 2015 Alabama Crimson Tide team some superlatives. We're going to break down the 2015 Alabama Crimson Tide superlatives. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
I want you to be as honest as possible with me. All right, we'll start with best dressed. We'll keep it simple at first.
Best dressed. I say Maurice.
I say Derrick Henry. That's money, baby. That's money.
All right, biggest flirt.
Biggest flirt.
Biggest flirt.
Ronnie
Geno
Harrison.
Smith.
Yeah, Geno Smith. I'll take that back. Yeah, you can. Geno Smith.
What if I told you they said you were the biggest flirt?
It's probably true.
That's true.
The selfie king. Who is the biggest Snapchatter of them all?
Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake.
Oh my God.
Kenyon Drake.
I follow Kenyon Drake on Snapchat, so I do agree with you on that one. That's 3 votes for Kenyon Drake. Best dancer on this team?
Ronnie Harrison. Yes. Ronnie Harrison.
So Ronnie Harrison, can we get you up here, please? Just one dance move, all right? One dance move.
Oh, hit the little, no.
Dab. All right. Most likely to make Nick Saban angry.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
I don't know. It's just something about him. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Geno!
This is my personal favorite, and you got to be honest here, because I know there's one.
Right.
Most likely to listen to Justin Bieber.
Derek Keith.
Derek Keith.
I agree. You hit it right on the nail.
Derek
Or make a Fitzpatrick.
Is there proof that these two listen to Justin Bieber?
There is proof.
Yeah, I believe so.
Is it true that you are a Justin Bieber fan?
I'm not listening to Justin Bieber at all. I don't even know no Justin Bieber songs. Besides that one that just came out.
Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say sorry now?
We have to thank Jabril Washington and Maurice Smith for the 2015 Alabama Crimson Tide superlatives.
Some very interesting picks indeed. Hopefully Coach Saban won't see this tape. He may have something to say about all that. All right, guys, pick 'em time. In the time that we have left, we want to get your selections on who's going to win the big game. Noel Mandel, you're up.
31-17, roll, Tide, roll.
All right, you're on the record. Taylor?
I'm rolling with the Tide 27-20.
Well, 27-20. I like the Tide by 10. I'm not going to give you a specific score, but I like Alabama because of that defense. I think it's just too much to have the green get in that end zone much. It's not going to happen tonight. Well, guys, that's going to wrap things up for this college football preview here on WTVY. We thank you for joining us. Enjoy the game tonight, and of course, we'll have full and complete post-game coverage coming up in the morning sports report right here on WTVY tomorrow morning. So be sure to tune in. For the sports team, I'm Tony Cornish Jr. once again. Happy New Year and roll Tide.
Alabama, Michigan State, the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. This special presentation of News 4 at 5 brought to you by the Valenzuela Law Firm.